Yeah, looks like they back for a 5th season, man.
Who that?
Sports Roundtable.
Who?
SRT Crew.
Whoa.
SRT, they got that realness flowing in they DNA. Damn you lame if you ain't tuned to SRT today. HO got that payload when he say so, what you betting on? Don't get mad at me on fantasy, break up Kyrie LeBron. I be smooth as sports superhero Hancock in the mix. Deal with roll tide forever, real talk, you know who he gon' pick. See where I be with SRT, behind the glass, that G-Money. Mayweather strong, I never lose, 6-man elite, that's J Smooth.
All you other sports radio shows is fake news. Believe it. Turn up your radios, cause it's time for SRT Radio. Yeah.
What up? It's Sports Roundtable, and we are live from our virtual studios overlooking the virtual world. I'm your humble host, H.O. from Bankhead. We're going left to, or my left to your right. Got Coach. Going down to the bottom, I got Asa of DNA Sports. And of course, I got another coach, but this one is D. Will, the coach. My main man, D. Will, the coach. He's battling a little cold and a little snow at the same time. Fellas, what's going on? Fellas, what's happening?
What up?
How's it going?
Yes, sir, man. I hope everybody is good and safe and all good with the weather. I think Coach is the only one that didn't get in the snow because he's a little farther down on Bank. It's all he a little farther down on Bankhead, so he's straight. No snow. Fellas, we got a good one tonight. Welcome to episode 406. 406 episodes for the Sports Roundtable SRT show. Yes, Coach, you got a number for us for 406?
406.
You normally do a number for your show. You got his name? How about Bobby Cox number 6?
Bobby Cox. His 406 are different.
And how about Brian Jordan with the number 40 and Brian Jordan with number 40 and Bobby Cox with number 6. 406.
That sounds about right. I'll take
Sound
that.
about right. Okay.
Yeah.
Good
Or it
deal.
might be 406 games before Lamar Jackson win a Super Bowl. I'm sorry.
Don't let that Steelers hate come out on you, Coach. Don't let the Steelers hate leak out.
Ooh, Coach already started.
Yeah, I'm so sorry to put it out there like that. I can't help it.
I feel you.
I can't help it. That's where the anger came from with the Ravens.
Man, that was tough, that Coach.
Yes, it was.
My main man Dez is already with her. What's up, Dez? Got to get you a hat. D. Will, I'm gonna have to send you one of these along with your T-shirt.
No, I need it.
You need it right now, I'm sure.
I need it. Oh yeah, it's so cold out here. It don't make no sense.
I already know. All right, man, we got a great show for you. We got some hot news coming up real soon as we're going to talk about, well, you know what we're going to talk about, the Ryan Day Redemption Tour.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's the best way I can put it, to be honest with you. But we're going to have to talk about that because there are some people in the state of Michigan, because of the Lions losing, still saying that they have the trump card over OSU. But hey, that's neither here or there.
They do.
They still got you say that
outside of Ohio, they're the happiest people. It's Michigan.
Well, shouldn't Michigan get half of the trophy?
Nope.
Nope.
They trained them up. They helped them understand the run game and how to stop it. They ain't stop it against them, but they understood.
But how did you lose to a mediocre Michigan team with absolutely no quarterback?
Have Jalen Milroe as your quarterback.
And
I said, actually, will. You know how that goes.
Have Jalen Milroe as your quarterback. That's how you do it.
And that's how you do it. And go through the playoffs unscathed. Just bloop. But that's college football, folks. And also we got some NFL quarterback playoff narratives. What are they saying now that we're down to the AFC and the NFC championship games? What are they saying about these quarterbacks? And Coach has already broke out and talked about Lamar Jackson, and I'm sure that's going to be a long conversation. That's why I had to block out. I couldn't have any guests on tonight because I already knew that this was going to be a long conversation. So then we got Ballers and Busters, roundtable discussion. Then we got our roundtable discussion. We got Coaches Movement, the NBA talk, and who's next in line. Well, that's the movement. But we got a 3-point shot that Coach is gonna love, and Ace you're gonna love too. Not sure D will be around to hear it, but before you leave, I'm gonna ask you. All right, with that being said, fellas, let's go ahead and jump into some hot news. And our hot news is sponsored by Big Easy Grill, 1193 Collier Road, Atlanta, Georgia. Big Easy Grill, the best Louisiana seafood in town. You can ask me, you can ask D-Will, you can ask Asa. You can even ask one of our attendants, Dez. The best Louisiana seafood in town. I'm not telling you to root for the Saints. I'm telling you to go and get some shrimp. So, with that being said, 1193 Collier Road, Atlanta, Georgia. Make sure you mention SRT or Sports Roundtable. Get you go ahead and get your 10% off any meal, $25. All right, fellas. Ohio State, the Redemption Tour, the Ryan Day Redemption Tour. Coach, I'm going to go ahead and start with you because you have deemed him. This is his tour. What did you see out of Ohio State that make them just do what they did on Monday night?
Yeah, basically, $20 million can buy you some good ball players. You can get the cream of the crop for $20 million, and they just out physical Notre Dame. Notre Dame wasn't physical enough to stay with them. And then the most egregious play of all, and I love Marcus Freeman, and I wanted him to win. But Marcus, how do you run a cover zero on third and whatever, and toward the end of the game, and you got Jermaine Smith out there one-on-one? No, sir. That was a losing proposition all the way around. And Jermaine Smith said, oh, so they're going to trust this guy to stay with me? All I heard was two letters. And the quarterback could have said them. They still couldn't stop it. G-O. Go route. That's all I need. And that was the nail in the coffin for Notre Dame. You know, Notre Dame made a run at it. Great House. He looked good. He was he was balling. He was wide out. But in the end, $20 million, get you all them athletes. Now, next year, I don't know how much they're going to spend because they ain't going to have no quarterback. All the quarterbacks leave. But they got a 5-star thing coming in, but we'll see. And
all right, Coach. Only thing about your analysis that his name is Jeremiah Smith. We don't want
Jeremiah.
We don't want no flack and no.
I don't need no pistols. No pistols. No.
Yeah, because we don't want no folks saying we don't have a Jermaine Smith.
Jermaine. I'm just thinking about a dude named Jermaine, and I don't know why I called his name.
All right, but you wanted to ask D-Will something?
Yeah, D-Will.
Yes, sir.
You don't look too happy tonight. Is everything all right?
Oh, everything is great.
If you got that look in your eyes like you're going to come with something that's going to bust the sound barrier.
Oh, it's coming. I'm just waiting on my topic that you spoke about earlier.
Okay, I'm waiting. I got to hear it.
Yeah, it's coming.
I'm saving that for last. So, Ace, I'm going to let you go ahead and D-Will.
I mean,
what you got on the game? What was your takeaway from the championship game?
I mean, I had Ohio State winning. I think what the coaches, not so much. I get the NIL money and all that kind of stuff, but if this was the regular format, I seen this coming. There's still something that Notre Dame cannot do when it gets to these bowl games. Is they're coached well. I mean, I can't tell you the last time we had a Notre Dame that maybe hasn't been in a top 15 ranking. But even in the bowl games, they are lacking that top end talent. They may have one of him, but they don't never have several. And that him may be on the defense, might be a wide receiver, might even be an O lineman, but there's only one. And so that's just what we figured. Only thing that Ohio State did not do was blow them out. So this was the regular format where it was, January 1 game and they had a whole month to prepare. It would have been a blowout, which usually happens to Notre Dame. But that's just because that's just who they are. They still have that. They still have that academic over them. Like I said, they still don't get the 5 stars. They don't get the blue chip guys. They get good guys and they can be coached up. But when it gets to the Ohio States, the Alabamas, the USCs, in the bowl game scenario, that this is what it looks like.
Okay. All right, D. Will, do we need to brace ourselves?
No, this ain't even my topic, but I'm gonna talk about this. I got something else down the line we're gonna get into. Yeah.
Let's go.
Was that not the worst spectacle of a freaking championship game you ever seen in your life? Let's be honest, bro. Let's be honest. We can sit here and say, "Oh, but the game was close at the end. They had a chance to win." No, they didn't, bro. Like we knew at the beginning of the football season, through all the ebbs and flows of football season, when Ohio State went out there and spent all of that money on Caleb Downs, who they took from us. The reason we couldn't do anything in the secondary this year, because they took Caleb from us. Then they went and got Quinshon Judkins from Ole Miss, which just dismantled Ole Miss's offense this season. You knew they had the best team in the country. You knew they had the best roster in the country. We knew all season long when it came down to it, Ohio State was going to get right, especially when we hit the playoffs and we saw how they had it rolling. When we saw how they had it, when Michigan happened, everybody sat back. But it was one of those things, y'all. I'm going to tell you something. Ryan Day just can't beat Michigan the way we couldn't beat Auburn and Tommy Tuberville was just smacking us no matter who we put on the field. We just could not beat them. Ryan Day has an issue in that series. It's the exact same thing. So us seeing them lose that game it gave all the talking heads an opportunity to push the game, right? It gave them a narrative to draw about, well, Ohio State's not about to blow everybody out. When in actuality, we knew Ohio State was about to blow everybody out. So the game wasn't much to me. They had some exciting plays, like I say, to see Jeremiah Smith. He's just good, dog. Like to be that big, that good, and we could say all the adjectives about him. But Quinshon Judkins, man, let's talk about the boy. Like, he balled out, right? Like, he is from Montgomery, right? He's from right here. They got him labeled at Pike Road because he went to Pike Road High School, but he's a Montgomery kid. And to see him in high school to where he is now, doing what he's doing, yeah, he had a hell of a game, man. And in my opinion, he was the highlight of it. We had 3 touchdowns. So, like, you can have 3 touchdowns in a national championship game. You had a good night.
What about
hold on. Before I finish, I heard somebody say, I think it was Coach, say you like Marcus Freeman, right? Marcus Freeman does just enough to not do enough. All the time. He is always, let's go back to his entire tenure of coaching. He's been really good, but he's done just enough to not do enough. Like, you got to go upset in that football. He had so many blunders in that football game that he could have corrected and done stuff differently to win the football game. So, in my opinion, man, like, we could give him props for making it, but are we really giving him props for making it? Like, is this a moral victory for the black coach? he got there. Whoop-de-doo. I'm just being serious.
I don't even think he wanted to have that title. So let's not even give it to him.
Well, I understand that, but just like Tony Dungy back in the day, it is what it is, right? Yeah. Like that is what it is. So he got that title. So I'm just sick of everybody kind of making it seem like, oh wow, look at black coaches now. Look at the black people. They finally arrived. Like, come on, man, stop it. And for him to sit there and not own it is the Tiger Woods. Like, bro, you black. Be happy to be black. Just say it, right? So I got an issue with that.
That's why I say don't give it to him.
Right. But listen, if he wins, he fight the power black.
Yeah.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So, like, I got an issue with that. And I told y'all that was one of the reasons I don't like him and never have. Y'all can go back to all my archives on this platform. I've never been a Marcus Freeman fan. Y'all know I ain't no Notre Dame fan. So when he went there, I sure wasn't a Marcus Freeman fan. So I'm glad he got his ass whooped. I'm just going to be honest.
Coach was waiting on that. Coach, you waited to laugh all day, huh, Coach? I guess you're on mute.
Yeah, he on mute.
Yeah, Coach, you on mute. He ain't looked down yet.
Oh yeah, D. Will had that look on his face like, look here, let me tell y'all something. He had that let me tell y'all something look on his face. Like,
I got some stuff to talk to y'all about for sure.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, Hancock just hit me up and said he at home, so look for the professor to be coming in pretty here soon.
Let's see. I got something to do. I'll call y'all back. Let me check away for just a second.
All right, so D. Will had already answered the next question. Were you satisfied with the game? And I'm sure he's answered that for himself. So Ace, I'm gonna come to you first. Were you satisfied with the game, or are you satisfied with how the first year of the 12-team playoff panned out?
I mean, the game was what it was. I think we all knew that, Ohio State should have put hands on them, and the game should have been a whole lot worse than what it is. And that's the reason why I feel like the state of Michigan is still happy because Ryan Day is still there. So because that game should have been 52-17, 63-14 is what that game should have been. But for it to be what it was, tells me about Ryan Day and his staff. Now the overall 12 playoff, this showed me that coaches need to, the powerhouse guys, coaches, teams need to readjust how they go into the season now, because this played out perfectly for the Ryan Days and the Freemans of the world, but not so much for the Georgias and the Tennessees, because they're still, to me, adequated to the having a 30 days off and I can adjust and all that kind of stuff. No, now you gotta prepare for travel, prepare for bad weather, and be able to have multiple game plans ready to go based on either your current opponent and for the opponent you may face after you win your next round. And I feel like the teams like Tennessee and SMU and those teams, or the Tennessees and the Penn States, they weren't ready for the next round. So it'll be interesting going forward how some of the coaches change their mindset, because it's okay for this now. It's okay for you to lose a game or two in the regular season to get prepared for the playoffs. Whereas before, it was a grind to get to 11-1, 12-0, and then have that 30 to 40 day gap to get ready for one game. That's no longer. So that's just what this shows to me, who can make the adjustments, and Ryan Day and is prepared for it. They're more prepared for it.
Yes, I got a surprise for you, Coach.
Oh Lord.
There he is, my main man. Bro, Hancock is in the building, folks.
What's up, gentlemen?
What's
going on?
Yesterday.
Hey, man, everybody's off the road but me. So it is what it is. What's going on, fellas?
All right.
Superhero, man.
What's up, D Weezy?
Yes, sir.
Coach, what's happening?
I guess it didn't snow on the right streets. He's at home, so that's what it is.
Yeah. I whipped out of Big Easy looking for you.
I can't fight that one. I have no defense.
Yeah,
I heard that.
All
I
right,
heard
so,
that. D Will, why you so hard on Marcus Freeman, baby?
Man, you know how I feel about the brother. You already know.
I
man.
heard that.
You
I
already know.
heard that.
I listen. I don't like nobody. How about that? Until you win
I
me
hear
over,
you.
I don't like nobody.
I heard that. Well, I don't know. I was kind of pulling for the brother, and I guess it is a little bit of I think with everything that's going on with the world, no DEI, nothing going on. I was trying to get the brother in because they done took away everything. No DEI in the world. Trump taking away everything. Let us have something. So anyway, but it didn't work out, man.
yeah,
It didn't work out.
definitely.
Yeah, it was a lackluster game, and I'm not trying to take it. I know you have probably moved on to something else, but I did hear y'all talking about the national championship game. It was lackluster, and Notre Dame, as we've said, D. Will, I think throughout the last few years, until they can be able to go back and get some Tony Rices, some Jerome Bettis, people like that to come in and lower some of those academic standards, and let what Lou Holtz was able to do. They're not going to be competitive in the real world, and you can look at it by the way they keep scheduling. You get to play Navy and Army and the ACC schedule. That's going to automatically give you some kind of advantage. Until they level the playing field, Notre Dame is going to always have that advantage. So it is what we expected. They got their brain. Really, they got beat. I agree with you. It looked better with the little cosmetics at the end to make the score better, but the game really was never in doubt.
Hey, Joe, somewhere there's a, and I hate to say this, y'all forgive me, there's a punk sissy coward clapping named Brian Kelly who proclaimed that Notre Dame could never win anything. And he's somewhat clapping because he knows good and well. See, I told y'all, but Brian Kelly, you'll never win anything at LSU. You done had neighbors, you done had all those wideouts, and you ain't done nothing. So you might want to put it on mute. Matter of fact, I'll save him for my boy stock. God dog it, I tell you.
There you go. All right, Coach. Since you're talking, I want you to explain to our listeners. Were you satisfied with the game, and were you satisfied with how the first year of the 12-team playoff panned out?
Well, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna be honest because y'all guys deserve the truth. I went to sleep when it was 21-7. And woke up, it was 30-7. I said, what in the world? Did I miss something? And then I caught the third and fourth quarter, most of the third and fourth quarters. But, some people improved their draft status. Some people, you might get picked in the later round, the combine or tail. But overall, the big boys kind of, and Paul Feinbaum said something that I listened to. He said the Big Ten rules now. The SEC doesn't rule anymore. And I'm like, oh gosh, after 2 years, that's all you got, Paul Feinbaum. I'm like, you must be getting on a plane and have to talk fast. That's the only thing I can see with him making that statement. Because I'm like, okay, you 2 years, Michigan, Ohio State won. Next year, somebody else gonna win. So. It was a good 12-team tournament. I think it's going to be better. I think they cut down on the time between games. I'm not sure how they're going to do it, but they're going to do something.
Yeah, they got to do something.
And I was going to say that. Like, in my opinion, the game also lost some luster because it took too long. Like, I'm not going to say but I was a little tired of college football, right? Like, we had got to a point where we know what makes college football. It's every single Saturday being a root for your team and being able to watch everybody else, right? Like when you have that game being stretched out and you watch all those games in between, the casual fan moves on, right? Like the casual fan of a certain university moves on. And us diehard fans continue to watch, but it's like, all right, man, what we gonna get here? Like, who gonna win? Like we've been talking about it forever. Like so, I think they got to do something to move that date up because it just stretches out too long, even for the diehard fan.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead,
what
Ace.
y'all about to get into is overall scheduling. They're gonna have to. So first of all, with that being said, they're about to get to they're minor league for NFL now. So they're about to play 15 games when it's all said and done. So if that's the case, you gotta lose a game in the regular season. You gotta go back to the old days when it was 10 games, and then you gotta add 4 more teams to a Sweet 16 format, and then give your 4 champions the at-large bid. And
I
then
think they need to do away with conference final championships. My point is, I think at some point you're gonna have to be in the Big Ten or the SEC, and that's it.
Or I mean, then you got to make sure everybody's in a conference. But I'm just saying, the NFL is at 18 weeks, right? So you got to be able to make college for it to work out to at least be at 16 weeks.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
But hey, they're getting paid though. So why
They're
not?
getting paid, but the only way to address D Wills is you got to lose a game during the regular season and make it up on the back end.
You got to do something to shorten it. You got to.
Yeah, you can start shortening it by not allowing Boise State to get in the playoff. That's the first thing. All these little teams that really they don't belong.
Boise State is no different than Notre Dame.
I'm not arguing there, but what I'm saying is Boise State, when you get these teams in here and you don't have a balance, whether that's Notre Dame, whether it's Boise State, whether it's anybody out of Conference USA, any of those small schools, when they don't balance, when the schedules don't balance and you don't play a strength of schedule, you cannot be rewarded into the second round. That is, to me, crazy. And I think that had a lot to do with it. You know, you can't have these me and your kindergarten schools in there like that. I think you got to move on and play big boy football. And I think that took a lot of the luster away. I do agree that waiting kind of took away a lot of it, but it's because of everything running together. You got NCAA basketball going on, you got NFL going on, the NCAA is going on. I mean, everything's going on. So it takes away from everybody concentrating on something that's a big, supposed to be a big thing that's going on, the national championship. So I think that's one of the things that we got to get away from. It's got to be quicker. I agree, D. Will, but you got to get teams in here that's going to matter, man.
Are we trying to get
10 game season and add 6 and have a Sweet 16?
Are we trying to give the little guys more of a chance than we need to, and by replacing them with some of the big boys?
Bro,
that's what I think.
I have proposed this already, and I'm telling y'all, it's much closer than we actually think. We're going to be in a NCAA basketball type format. That's the only way it works.
That's why I'm going with the 16. I'm with you.
Yeah, that's the only way you get it to work. We don't have to make this conversation. We let everybody in. You let everybody in. Right? You let the 64 teams in, bro, and you cut that season down. You cut out conference championship games, and you go by strength of schedule or RPI, whatever you want to call it, and you just play NFL style football. You put teams in regions, you put them in divisions, and you play that schedule. That's the only way that we're going to sit back and say, okay, now college football is where it is, to where it's a balanced playing field, because everybody is playing everybody every other year, just like they do in the NFL. It's like Asa just said, it's already the minor leagues for the NFL. They're already getting paid. Why are we fighting it to try to get put a square peg in a round hole? Just do it as such, and it works.
All right, before we move on to our next topic, D. Will or Coach, both of the coaches, I need to ask y'all this question. Why did Air Nolan transfer from Ohio State? Was that a mistake on their part going into next year, or they ran out of money?
Like in my opinion, I don't know if they ran out of money. What's happening is, and if you noticed, these universities are going to pay for play now. Like there are schools that are coming out and saying, hey, our university is paying this much money to our athletic program, right? So now there's no longer the NIL crutch to lean on to say I'm pulling from a collective. This is going to be money given straight from the university. If you see, UCF has already did it with their basketball program. They're promising that every player that comes to play at UCF will make $384,000 a year. That's what they would, the lowest paid player, number 13, that gets a scholarship, because you know they get 13 scholarships, is going to get paid at least $384,000 coming directly from the university. So I think it's a thing of, hey, we don't have discretionary funds anymore to just pull and dump into you from a so-called collective, because they're about to change the rule where these schools can pay. And the schools pay, man, they're not going to pay you like the collectives would pay, in my opinion.
Okay. So Aaron Nolan goes to South Carolina. Does that put South Carolina in the top 10 already for next year with the season that they had?
South Carolina.
I don't know if it puts them in the top 10. But the thing about it is South Carolina already has a quarterback, so it's going to be some kind of fight for who's going to be the quarterback. Because the kid that played this year I think he's more than adequate. I think he's a good quarterback. So we'll see what other kind of growth and development.
South Carolina probably should have been in the playoffs but they got hosed in the LSU game early in the year.
Yeah. I want to go back just a little bit on something y'all were talking about as far as the dominance in college football, and talking about the Big Ten being the dominant conference now, and SEC has lost its way or lost that moniker or that mantle. I think what has happened to me, I think just like what D. Will's talking about, your Caleb Downs leaving in Alabama and going to play, at a conference in the Big Ten. I think what's happening is it's the depth of what used to be in the SEC, and one thing that I think I had talked to Big Homie about it was I heard Marcus, Big Marcus said on ESPN, what he was talking about was he asked Cam Newton, where did he start his college career? And he said University of Florida. Well, if you think about it, at that time, you had Tim Tebow there. You had him there. And before that, Big Homie, what was the other black quarterback they had before? Chris Lee. So what you had was you had all that depth. You had 2 and 3 people that could possibly win a Heisman at one university, and not just Florida. If you go out through, look at Alabama and all the running backs that have come through there, and some that have left and have become household names in the NFL. I mean, that's the thing that's happening now is the depth of the SEC is suffering because kids now don't have to wait. Somebody will come in there with that big check and say, look, man, you can be starting this year. And they're tearing up the cupboards. So I think that's what we're looking at as far as why they aren't as dominant as they used to be. But I still think they're the top conference in the land.
Hold on, Asa. Hold on. To your point, Han, D. Will said it. Caleb Downs and the running back, what's his name? Judkins.
Mm-hmm.
They both came from the SEC, but they both were very, very impactful in this championship game on the Ohio State side. So, to your point, Hannah, I guarantee you're right. So the SEC their third and fourth stringer can go to another school and become the first stringer because they already had SEC talent. It looks like they're going to shine more. So that puts that conference, more in the eye of the public now. All right, Ace, go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say all that stuff is true, but now we're gonna start seeing in the SEC who can really coach.
Speaking of that, D. Will, how long before Caleb DeBoer is out the door?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. People aren't mad at Caleb DeBoer in Tuscaloosa. He has, for the lack of a better term, gotten a pass for this season. He even got a grade of A- from several of the Bama people. So my thing is, I don't. He didn't lose, right? Now he didn't win, but he also didn't lose. If he has a 5-7 season, we're having a different conversation. But he was on the cusp of a playoff berth. And here's who they're say that again, Ace?
He was handicapped.
He was, and that's what I was going to say. People are more mad at Jalen Milroe than they are at Kalen DeBoer. They feel as if Kalen DeBoer couldn't open up his playbook due to the deficiencies of Jalen Milroe. So he got a pass because that's not your quarterback. We believe you're going to bring in somebody who's going to fit and you're going to be able to groom him to wins. Now, if that happens and he doesn't win, we'll have a different conversation coming next year. Right. But as of right now, he good.
Okay, because that's what I was going to say. Something about a pass. The pass always got an expiration date.
Right.
I just was surprised it took everybody this long until Oklahoma, of all teams, to figure out, load the box and make him pass the ball. It took like 10 weeks. And then when it got done, it was like, oh, okay. And then it was all downhill from there.
But just think about it. So we're speaking of these other kids going to other schools and being able to play immediately. That's cool, right? But I want to go back to a point y'all made about Alabama back in those days. Think about how we used to stack the box during the Saban era, right? Look at our wide receiver core at one point. We had Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy, Devontae Smith, and Jalen Waddle, along with O.J. Howard, along with we stacked the box. You can't do that anymore. Yeah. And the reason you can't do that anymore is because you're getting paid. The money is there. It's not about guys wanting to go other places, it's not even them wanting to play. You can't go to the NFL until 3 years anyway. So some of them would rather go and sit because it's less film, it's less tape. I could go have one good year and go first round. So it's just that these other schools now are able to, hey man, listen, you going over to Bama for $250,000. Come over here, we got $890,000 for you.
Exactly.
I'm gone because that's the difference in stacking the box on these higher level teams. But now, listen, don't get me wrong. You go look at Bama's roster, it's still stacked with 4 and 5 stars. This next class is the second rated class in the country. It's packed full of 4 and 5 stars. However, you're not getting next year, you're not getting the 3 more wide receivers is coming, knowing those other 3 wide receivers just got there, still got 2 years. That's what you're not getting anymore.
Yeah. And that's what but the thing I'm talking about is that it's not just that you're losing players that are getting seasoning. I mean, think about the 2 that you talked about. Caleb Downs was truly more than just a freshman. Well, he freshman All-American last year, if I'm not mistaken.
He was.
And then you look at the kid that left out of running back. You mentioned him that went to Ohio State. He should have been the starter running back at Ole Miss this year. So the guy, you lost that. The guy that came in, he was a good running back, but think about it. You lost the top guy. So that's what I mean by it. It's almost, and I think it's happening in college basketball also in the lower levels when they're going down here and getting those kids from these schools. And a lot of these coaches are mad and pissed off. They say, you coming in here and you're not having to recruit, go get high school stars or whatever. You're coming into other universities because you got a slot. And you tell him, look, I got a bigger bag over here. You already know how to play. Just come on in this system. So I think that's what I mean about, you can have a lot of depth, but you're taking players that are playing, that are producing for schools. And that's what's making the difference.
Yep.
Yeah. So and to Marcus Spears' point, Cam started out of Florida, went to a JUCO, then went to Auburn, then won the Heisman.
That Florida team that Cam and those people were on that's one of the best college teams in college football history. If you go and look down that roster, it was crazy. The talent that was on that team.
Yeah, they had.
But here's the thing, H.O. Here's the point.
Yeah, too. But go ahead. Don't
do them like that. But here's another point that y'all got to understand. To Hancock's point, we're we understand recruiting no longer goes to the high school level. Now, it's a little different in football and basketball. Football still recruits the high school level. Basketball is, listen, y'all, they are getting away from recruiting any high school kids, period. They're not signing them, right? If you better be top 100, top 150, or you better be your local hero to get one of your local Division I programs to sign you, right? So my point is they're changing the rules so drastically in college athletics. Their Division I is looking to give a 5th year of eligibility. College will go from 4 years to 5 years, okay? They're giving you junior college players are able to go to junior college for 2 years and their clock doesn't start. They can transfer to a Division I and still have all 4, maybe 5 years of eligibility left. So, of course, I'm not going to recruit a high school kid. So now all the high school kids have to go to junior college route. They have to go even Division II. Division II said, hey, you keep your eligibility if you play in 30% less of the Division II games in a season. You keep all of your years of eligibility if you decide to transfer up. So college coaches are going to say, you know what? I like this high school kid. I like this high school kid. I'm going to send you to this JUCO. I'm going to send you to this Division II. I'm going to send you here. And they're going to be able to pay these kids money. So now when they recruit, they're getting guys who they've already put out there that they know can come and produce immediately, including the guys they can get from the transfer portal. So what they're doing is in college football, we know younger guys aren't going to get recruited. We know all coaches are recruiting the portal. Guys going to be coming to college at 22 with 5 years of eligibility. He's going to be 27, 28 years old when he leaves. So we just got to understand it's drastically changing across the whole landscape of college athletics.
Yeah. Now, how much of a difference? Now, I'm just throwing the alley-oop. How much of a difference now, if when Bill Belichick gets into this college realm, how much is he going to change the landscape of the way college is being ran at this particular point?
Ooh.
Because he's going to run it like an organization.
He gonna run like an NFL program is what he's gonna do. He had a general manager for his college football team, so that lets you know he what type of business he's gonna run. So I think he's gonna get seasoned people, veteran kids, and I think it's gonna move more toward. Look at Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is not your average rookie quarterback. You know, if you look at how many years he's played football, how many passes he's thrown. I think that's why we look at the maturity and the way he's playing in the NFL is that he's had time to develop, you know, all this coaching. And I think that's probably what's going to start being the difference. If you look at how he plays versus Williams in Chicago, and it's a different calmness that he plays with versus him. And it's because of the snaps and the way, you know, he's been tutored. So I think that, you know, it's not going to be a rush for a quarterback to say, you know, I need to be in the NFL next year. And the other thing is because the NIL in the bag. I mean, you don't have to rush to start your clock. You can, if Arch Manning wants to sit there and wait 3 more years, he can. You know, he wasn't hurt for money anyway. But what I'm saying is there's no rush for him to play in the NFL. So, you know, I think he wants to play next year. So I think they got to get that bum. I don't want to call the kid a bum, but they got to get that dude out of there because he's not that.
Didn't he enter the portal? Yeah, he entered the portal.
I think somebody offered him $6 million. That was a rumor.
He went to the
draft.
He
declared it.
Yeah, he declared.
Yeah.
That don't mean that.
Quinn Ewers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Ewers. Yeah.
Left out.
Yeah, they're looking at probably giving it's gonna be, I don't know, maybe the major colleges is gonna put forth the Bo Nix scholarship, where you can play for 6 years and you can get all the NIL money, and then you after that 6 year you gotta go. Every college will be able to have one. The Bo Nix scholarship, 6 years, and then you gotta go. You can't stay any longer.
And you get an Aflac, and you get some Aflac insurance along
That's
the way.
right. That's
But
right.
just think about it, man. Like a kid coming out of high school at 18, 19 years old, he goes to play 2 years of junior college football. He transfers to a Division I. He's 20. He's what? 21 years old, and then he has 5 years of eligibility. Now, God forbid he gets hurt one of those years or gets a red shirt year. Bro, he's going to be 30 playing. But here's the thing. He's going to have a master's degree, and he's probably going to be made $1.3 million in his career.
Exactly.
Right? So they're going on and like it's a catch-22, right? Because a lot of these athletes that we're talking about look like everybody who's sitting on this screen right now. So you want the best for them. You want them to have the most opportunities they can to monetize while they can, right? So, but bro, I don't want to see 30-year-olds playing college football, dog. I'm just saying, it's just me. It has to be something. And I was even thinking this, and I was thinking this. I get the JUCO rule, right? And I agree with it. But I would have to say this. It has to be some sort of stipulations on you going JUCO. You got to get something coming out of there, right? Like we're just not going to give you 5 free years. You can go 2 years, do what you want to do, and then just transfer. Like it has to be something of, hey, man, you got to maintain a 2.5 GPA. Say you're a non-qualifier, right? A non-qualifier. I was thinking about this earlier. I'm too young. Non-qualifier. Say, meaning you have to go JUCO. You can't go Division I, right? A lot of those guys out there. Say you get to go there. You got to go there and you have to stay 2 years, right? You have to stay 2 years and graduate with your associate's degree, right? That makes sense. Say a qualifier, though, a kid that doesn't have to go JUCO, but the opportunities are so slim on that level, he has to go JUCO. He can come out whenever he wants to. I just think it has to be some sort of stipulation on these guys going this route because we can't have 30-year-olds playing college football, y'all. It's just not going to be a sport that you're going to like to see.
Man, well, where was this when I was back playing? They didn't give us but work study. God dog, man, I need some of this Neil money. God dog.
Yeah.
But you're right, D. Will. You exactly right. It's gonna turn into a more of a profit than anything else, a profit sharing or overload. But like you said, just like you could put that to basketball. Who gonna play basketball when you got a 28-year-old going up against an 18-year-old? Come on, man. That's out of question right there.
Well, I think another point that, to your point, D. Will, what we probably is missing is the money that the schools are actually getting from the tuition. Let's say, for instance, you get 3 transfers from JUCO. They got 5 years to play. And if they go to school every year without getting hurt, there's 5 more years of tuition. And depending on where it is, that tuition can be anywhere from $40,000 to $50,000 per year, and the school benefits from that.
Big time.
So that is a chunk of money all the way around. But anyway, let's get to our last topic, and I'm sure D. Will been waiting on this one. So this is what I'm gonna do, fellas. I'm gonna give each of y'all a quarterback. And you tell me from the playoffs, what is the now narrative that you have, or anybody, or what's the narrative of the quarterback from that team? And I'm just gonna start you off with one, but and after that person goes, anybody else who want to comment on that, we can go. So Ace, I'm gonna start with you. We're gonna start in AFC. You have Mr. Kelly. I mean, John. What's his name? For the Buffalo.
Josh Allen.
Yeah, you got Josh Allen, D. Will, Lamar Jackson.
Uh-oh.
Han, Jalen Daniels. Coach, Jared Goff.
Give me the cripple.
Well, I mean, somebody told me you were talking about the Detroit folks, so I said, well, let me get Coach. Let me get Coach. I mean, it should be a layup for you, Coach. But all right, so let's go. What is the narrative now for Buffalo Bill quarterback Josh Allen now that he has made it to another AFC Championship game?
The narrative right now, he's a bridesmaid, trying to be a bride.
Okay.
I mean, until he gets to a Super Bowl, that's going to be his narrative. And I mean, it's worked out that he's actually going to be playing the guy that he needs to get over, which is Patrick Mahomes. So he's done. He's a better version of Cam Newton, and so and when I say a better version, I'm not.
Go ahead, clean it up.
No. I'm not. I'm gonna leave it as that. I'm gonna leave it as that. He a better version of Cam Newton, but because he's had better parts to better weapons around him for all of his career than Newton has, than Cam had. But
instead didn't get to a Super Bowl. But go ahead.
Our MVP.
No. That's
What the hell? Stop it. What the hell has Josh Allen done besides make it to another AFC Championship game, bro? The Great White Hope. That's his narrative. He's the Great White Hope. They want to anoint this guy so bad who has done absolutely nothing. He didn't do nothing on Sunday to win that football game. That wasn't no Josh Allen win.
So you got to fight this one.
No, I don't. He asked me what the narrative is of Oh Boy, and I told him
your narrative. I thought it's our narrative, right?
Yeah.
Bridesmaid trying to become a bride, and as of right
hey, so
now,
you say he's better than Cam Newton?
Yeah.
Where? Doing what? What has he done that Cam didn't do? And you just said it. He had better weapons. So yeah, Cam did it with less, so that makes Cam better.
In the 1 year, overall, Cam had the 1 year, the 15-1 Minnesota.
What year has Josh Allen had? What year has Josh Allen had to put him in a conversation with a Cam Newton? One. That one game against Patrick Mahomes that he lost, that everybody anoints him for. No, that's the only thing we talk about.
I said, it might be this year.
He ain't did nothing this year. Stop.
He didn't do anything this year?
No, he was not.
He hasn't done anything this year.
Because he didn't throw that many interceptions, we're anointing him. Because he didn't turn the ball over, he got the same stats. He just didn't turn it over. He had 1 year where he didn't turn it over profusely like he has done his entire career, and now he's Cam Newton.
He will say profusely. God.
Well, Coach,
come on, man. Josh Allen is the Great White Hope. And I hope like hell he does not win because he's done absolutely nothing to get the darling treatment that he gets.
Well, I think he called a bridesmaid is not that flattering, but that's what he
Coach,
said.
I
can name 30 other teams, not 30. I can name 25 other teams that'll take them right now.
Yeah, I'm sure. And they'll be in the same position the Buffalo's in. Maybe. If they're lesser, they're going to be nowhere near where Buffalo is right now. Let's not act, you said it yourself. Josh Allen has had rosters that he should have won championships with. Point blank, period. My question is coming up, and I got something for that, so I ain't going to go there. But Josh Allen, whew, Jesus, I can't stand it.
Go ahead with Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson.
Unfair.
He is Superman. Since we're on the talk of Cam Newton, right? In that football game, despite the turnovers, right? And conditions matter.
What half we talking?
Well, I'm just saying, like, I'm not talking a half, we're talking full game. Like the complete first quarter to second quarter. Like,
okay.
Like
I know one half of that game, he looked like crap.
Well, my point is, you can call it crap, but if he was looking like crap, Josh Allen's numbers were worse than his. Josh Allen's numbers were worse than Lamar, and you said he looked like crap. So, but we're anointing Josh Allen for winning the football game when Lamar Jackson did everything for his football team to win that game. The narrative on Lamar Jackson is going to be he can't win the big one. And my point is, due to no fault of his own, but in the world we live in, that don't matter. The narrative is he can't win the big one. And until he does, that's going to be who he is.
I can almost apply the same thing you applied to Josh to Lamar. And
No, you can't. Lamar has 2 MVPs. 2.
No, and I'm not saying Josh is better than Lamar. Take the regular season out, because if Lamar is to the point where we know he's at, then everything is about playoffs. And Lamar seems to not show up. Him individually, not worry about the rest of the team. Him individually not seem to show up in the playoff. Or in this last game, he not show up in the first half, but then was all lights out in the second half. But he dug a hole, or they dug a hole too deep to overcome.
Here's my point about that. To say the point of a player, a quarterback in particular, is to win the football game.
Yeah, no matter how you do it.
No matter how you do it. So we can sit there and say what Lamar looks like, but when it came down time for him to make plays, what did Lamar Jackson do? He looked like all world. He looked that way. So it's hard for me to put Mark Andrews dropping the ball in the middle of the field on an important play. Mark Andrews dropping it at the goal line. Like I get that matters. It matters.
I'm not even mentioning this. I'm not mentioning the second half with you on that, because Mark Andrews can't fumble the ball. If we go back to last year, Flowers can't fumble the ball to goal line.
Can't fumble.
I get those are all self-inflicted and doesn't have anything to do with Lamar. But at the same time, when you look at Lamar's playoff numbers, they are nowhere near his regular season numbers are, or if he's even available. And they always say your best ability is availability.
So that's why Josh Allen's where he is.
I think we got 2 of the same players. We got to go hard.
No, we don't.
In different aspects, we got 2 of the same players.
Okay, so let me ask you this: why was your narrative
harder for one than the other? But I think when you step back and look at them totality, they wind up doing the same thing.
But here's my thing: you have not once brought up the negative play of Josh Allen, but you brought up all the negative play of Lamar Jackson.
No, I was asked about this year. My comment was about this year and what his perception would be if, as of right now.
Well, let's pull up the numbers from this year.
To be a bridesmaid, that means you losing. You ain't the one being chosen.
But I think you said that in accordance to Patrick Mahomes is the bridesmaid. We haven't even gotten there yet.
Well,
we know he's gonna piss the bed up next week. We know he is.
They've both been to AFC championships, and they've both been going home after the AFC championship.
But who has the more accolades?
I mean, yes, one has the regular season MVP. After one of those, he got 2. After one of those, I don't care about your MVP. I want you to hoist some championships, whether it's the AFC championship, then the Super Bowl.
Mark Andrews got to catch the football. Mark Andrews got to catch the football.
Go back.
Mark Andrews can't fumble.
Y'all go back. Take a trip down memory lane and forget Mark Andrews and all of them, and go back about midway through the third quarter when, for some dumb reason, Baltimore tried to go for a 2-point conversion. If you get them that 1 point, now all you had to do at the end of the game is kick an extra point, and we tied, and we go to overtime. For what reason did Baltimore? See, people forget about that when they want to point. Andrews did this, and Lamar Jackson did that, and KFC sells good chicken and all that stuff. Right?
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, Coach, I'm with you. I think the conversation really should be more about Harbaugh. We should talk about Harbaugh the way we talk about Tomlin, your boy Tomlin, at this point now, having the teams and not being able to get over the hump.
Asa.
I'm gonna make everybody mad, but we're gonna have these conversations. So Coach.
What?
Coach, he had to throw Pittsburgh in there, didn't he?
Did he say Pittsburgh?
He said Tomlin. Same thing.
Go ahead. Keep going. I'm on.
No, I was just saying, if we're going to get to that point, then yes, we need to start looking at Buffalo's coaching in some of those games where Josh Allen didn't show up, as same as we can start looking at Lamar Jackson and Harbaugh and coaching and them not showing up.
All right, so
I think in this particular game though that we're talking about, granted, I give you, Josh played. You can call him what they call what they call a quarterback who does just along for the ride.
Bus driver.
Game
Yeah.
manager.
Game manager.
Yeah, there
And-
you
Oh,
go.
okay. I thought someone
You
did.
can call him that D-Will in this game, no problem. And that, you know what I mean?
Bus
And you
driver.
can really say Baltimore did more to lose the game than Buffalo did to win it. I'm not gonna argue there. But in past, there's been things where you're looking at, well, Buffalo did all they could and got out and got beaten. Coaching or whatever the case may be. Same thing we start looking at Baltimore. Outside of Lamar's play, when he has played well, there's been some coaching decisions that got you scratching your head. But for the most part, they don't seem to be prepared when it comes for the divisional or the AFC Championship game. And that's not on players to me. That's on coaching.
All right. Let's go down to Hancock. We're going on Jaden Daniels. What's the narrative, Mr. Daniels?
All right, now this is where I got confused because I didn't know we were talking about the national narrative or the narrative that I perceive. So can you tell me what we're talking about?
You can do both. Your narrative and the
Okay.
national narrative.
Well, I think the national narrative, the national narrative now is that he is the preeminent young quarterback in the league. It's no doubt that they feel that but the sky's the limit for him. I think he's the darling. I don't think they're look at someone short lived. But Patrick had so much runway left, it's kind of hard to say. But looking at what he's done, man, I mean, basically he's taken a franchise and turned it around. I mean, they're into the conference championship game, and basically he's the reason why. So the narrative of him is that he is the best young quarterback coming out. He's better than who was supposed to be the guy, which is Williams in Chicago. He's taken that mantle as being the best young quarterback in the league. As far as what I feel on it, I agree with it too. I thought that I can't think of the kid. I keep saying just Williams. Anyway, I thought he was going to be the guy. I thought he was going to come in and be like Patrick, make plays, out of nothing. But I think what happened with him is that I think I touched on a little bit more. The seasoning isn't there, and then just being able to not. What he's not doing is allowing teammates around him to make plays. He's still trying to do what he did in college. When you're the best athlete on the team or the best athlete on the field, you can overcome some stuff and cover up on some ills. So I think that, to me, when we look at what Jaden Daniels is doing now, he is the top young quarterback in the league, and the sky's the limit. I don't think any narrative is any different than that, whether I perceive it or whether the national audience perceives. I don't know. We may get some differences when you guys mention or talk about it, but I just don't see it right now. I think that what he can do with his legs, what he can do mentally, and how he's making plays down the field, his accuracy with the football, and is what's kind of setting him apart. And he's doing it under duress. He's throwing dimes with pressure in his face, making plays outside the pocket. And right now, he's just not making the critical errors. So I think right now, to me, he's just the top young quarterback in the league. He's the best quarterback in his division without a doubt. And that's saying a lot. You got a vet in your division. And I know Dak takes some slings and arrows of what he is. I think he's better than Jalen Hurts. I think he's better than Dak. And I think he's the top player, top quarterback in the NFC East right now.
He's definitely your rookie of the year then, right?
I don't think it's a question.
Should have been probably in some of the MVP talk. Not saying he should have won.
He was on his way, I think, Asa, before he had a little lull when he got hurt. He got hurt and got banged up, and his stats kind of dropped. But when he came back from that, he took right back off, man. So he had some MVP buzz for a second.
All right,
I will say this, Hancock, too, before you go next, H.O. The real difference between Daniels and Caleb Caleb got. I hate to maybe give this example, but you ever dealt with somebody that's been in an abusive relationship? They might never really get over that. So no matter what you do, something's going to trigger them from that previous relationship. Caleb got abused in USC by his defense because you had to go out there and score 50 and you still might lose. So he never had any trust, you know what I mean, at USC as playing. Whereas,
but before you go into fire days, the same thing was at LSU. LSU defense was a sieve, but Jaden Daniels continued.
Nobody was worse than USC for 4 years while Caleb was there. Nobody.
Well, Caleb was only there 2 years, but I think you need to go and look at that last year of LSU. I know you watched them down there. People were scoring at will on LSU. They had no defense. He was having to put up 40 and 50 points and just keep doing everything for this team to win the games. If you watch what he did, that's why he won the Heisman. He was crazy. He put up numbers. Look at this score, what he had to do. I don't know if his defense was any worse. I'm telling you.
I went to 50 TDs, and that year, I mean, they won it. What, they were 9-3.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb might have stayed 1 year. Caleb might have stayed 1 year too long at USC. That's why he broke down crying. He might have stayed 1 year too long because his 4 years was literally, I scored 37. We gonna lose 30-37. I score 52. They go to score 53, and not just for one game here or there. It would be 8 out of the 9 games.
Yeah, well, like I said, I know Daniels had to put up big numbers every week for them to win also. So, I mean, I understand what you're saying. The other thing you kind of mentioned it, maybe staying too long or maybe, but, and this ain't off the record because I think I said it on the show before, and this might be the old man in me. Men ain't supposed to paint their fingernails, and I think it's something deeper underlying with it. I'm just going to call it like it is. I'm sorry, I just ain't with that, and I think that his makeup is something wrong, dude. That's just me.
I know. I'm with you. I mean, it's hard to sell at the locker room. It's hard to sell guys to get behind you. Football is the closest thing to the military, right? As far as the thought process and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be hard for guys to go to battle for you when you do stuff like that.
And you going in the stands and crying in your mama's arms. It's just a bad look. I'm not saying that you should be emotional. I'm not saying that, you shouldn't. Yeah, I am saying it. You ain't supposed to paint your fingernails.
Thank you.
Yeah, it just ain't right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it just ain't right, D-Will.
Yeah.
It ain't.
But that's just me. It ain't right. And I think to me.
Can y'all imagine going to the huddle and y'all put y'all hands in and say, team on 3, and he got his hands in there with it.
He got the press ons. Exactly.
My bad.
So your boy putting the hand, he got French tips.
Yeah, man.
But here's the thing. The underlining factor of the point that you're making, Han, is guys in the locker room aren't going to go to battle for that, right? Like, they are literally going to fight against you. One of my favorite movies of all time is Remember the Titans. And it was a different dynamic. They were talking race, but they were out there. I'm not going to block. Boom, you get hurt, right? Mm-hmm. Like, guys will really, I ain't finna, and Coach kind of alluded to it early, and I don't want to get canceled, so I ain't going to say the S word. But if somebody perceives you as that, they're going to treat you as such. But if you are with this progressive way of thinking of, I can be emotional, I can be a masculine, emotional man with my fingernails painted, you can be that. But that does not breed respect. And that's what you need in that sport to be successful. The reason Jaden Daniels is winning at an early age is because that locker room and that organization respects him.
Yep,
they don't respect Caleb Williams for the antics that he had. Listen, your boy for the 76ers, the dancing TikTok guy, Jared McCain. Jared McCain scored 40 points. 40 points. Had the interview with his fingernails painted and talked about it. The next day he was in the G League. After dropping a 40 ball The next day, he's in the G League. That lets you know, bro, y'all can do it, but we're not finna conform to that way of thinking, a way of life. It's just Michael Sam still never played in the NFL because of it. Right? So
Yep.
my point is, don't make it harder on yourself, Caleb Williams. I'm not telling you to be like anybody else, but being who you are, like masculine and being confident, is the reason Jaden Daniels is having that success.
All right, so we're gonna move on to Coach. Coach, let me first apologize to you. I know Caleb Williams is a USC alum and that's your team, but you know how we get down on Sports Roundtable. So all the arrows and all that, I hope it missed you. So,
I even took a shot at Pittsburgh. My bad, Coach.
so Coach, go ahead and give us your thoughts on Jared Goff after collapsing and not getting to the NFC Championship game.
HOC. First it was Pittsburgh, then it was USC. I'm trying to figure out where the narrative of this show is going. with attacking my teams and my guys. First of all, Caleb Williams only played 2 years at USC. He played at Oklahoma. Secondly, if Patrick Mahomes all of a sudden started painting his fingernails, ain't nobody gonna say anything about him. I had to get that out the way, and I'm gonna address. See, D Will said a little bit, so he gonna be last. But you two, I got something for y'all toward the end of the show. You know, just hang out. I got something for y'all. I'm gonna come fully loaded. There ain't gonna be no little sniper fire. People like they shot at Donald Trump. No, but anyway, Jared Goff. All you have to do is for him, all you have to do is take out one letter, take out one of his F's, and put in another O, and what you got? Dad, thank you. Jared Goof. He looked absolutely terrible again. And I don't want to hear the narrative that's going around for Detroit. Well, they lost all those players and they didn't have this and they went 15-2. I don't want to hear that. You still went 15-2, and then you get in that game and you go colorblind like Neil O'Donnell and start throwing to the wrong team, and you lose, and now you look and at least he owned up to it. At least he said, yeah, it's me. And then Hancock, I think it was you that was talking. No, it was Asa that was talking about crying. Dan Campbell cried. They think less of him. He sat up there and cried like a baby. Big tough guy on there crying because he lost. But anyway, I'm gonna step off that. Golf had a rough game. Great year, rough game, and that's bad. He worse than Sam Darnold, in my opinion. Sam Darnold, the week before, they put him on the shoulders. Wait a minute. He finding out who my wife supports. Wait a minute, Matthew.
No, he talking about Mahomes.
Oh, Mahomes. You know? Oh, okay. I got scared for him.
Coach, don't nobody know your real name on him but me.
Okay, okay. I'm sorry, Matthew. My bad.
Coach about to go get the hat. Go get the
Hey, at the front door.
Yeah.
I'm tense. Sorry, Matthew. My fault. But
talking about Mahomes, yeah.
All the attacks, I'm just feeling kind of vulnerable. I might start crying after the attacks tonight. I mean, I've been on sniper fire. Yes, sir, Matthew. I apologize. I've been on sniper fire. I've been ducking bullets, but just like Sam Darnold, Jared, that's what Jared Goff looked like. The week before, you won 14 games, and everybody proclaimed you the greatest in the world, putting you on their shoulders, pouring water on you and everything. And then you go looking like Sam Darnold from back in the days with the Jets, and you take those 14 wins, and you carry them on the trip to Cancun and lose. You there too. Yeah, Dez, I was about to turn it upside down. I'm already feeling kind of some kind of way, Dez. The attacks on my team. Who next? HO, North Carolina. That's next. You gonna jump them too?
No, I ain't got nothing to say against against your
It's
boy.
coming. It's coming. Don't worry about it. I think this will probably be my last show until next time. Until next time. But anyway, Jared Goff struggled, and it wasn't a good look for you to get to that point of the game. I mean, of the season, and now you lost your offensive coordinator and your defensive coordinator. So now Detroit, it's gonna be some eyes looking at you all. You until you replace those guys, Dan Campbell and
Mhm.
Golf and all your guys. We gonna see how those replacements hold up because that's not a good look. Two teams, 1-15-2, 1-14-3, and you sitting at home watching Daniels and Jalen Hurts. So
Yeah.
it's what it is.
D. Will phone died. He just texted me said his phone died. So, and I think he had to go anyway. So, but what I will say is this: I'm the proponent of, even though we're talking about quarterbacks, it's still a team sport. It's still a team game. The difference between what Jaden Daniels did this weekend versus Lamar Jackson is nothing different. The only thing on the Commanders, their players made the plays. Baltimore players did not. They got them the ball, but they didn't make the play. The other side, they got them the ball, they made the play. So that was the difference. There was more of a team effort on the Washington side versus the Baltimore side. And I
Hey
think that's
Joe.
the difference.
Hey Joe, I will defend Detroit a little bit. And I think, granted, you're right, coach. They went 15-2, and injuries should not be a mistake. But I think it forced them to go into their offensive bag way earlier in the year than they wanted to. I think they were initially a defensive minded team than what they turned into, which was to be an offensive explosive team. And so
Yeah,
those
I
last
agree with.
3 or 4 weeks
I
was what he wanted to say
I
was,
sorry.
no, I think those last 3 weeks, 4 weeks of the season when they were, putting up 30, 32 plus points, is he had to go into that bag a whole lot earlier than what they probably really wanted to do because of the injuries and the multitude of the injuries primarily on the defensive side. And I don't care what kind of, in my opinion, I don't care what kind of back end you have as far as corners and safeties. If you're not getting a pass rush, I'm going to be able to eat you apart. Plain and simple, because it's not the way the game is set up now. You can't touch the wide receivers. You can't put the fear of God in anybody coming across the middle. So now if I can't get a pass rush, it's no difference than playing 7-on-7 if you got a good quarterback.
Yeah, but Ace, I do agree with you that they got out of the game plan. But I think to me, where they got out of the game plan was that you had the other running back coming back. If you look back, the last part of the year, they had one go-to back, and he was able to just kill people. And once they got back, you could see that he was trying to involve both running backs.
Yep.
And then a couple of gadget plays came out of it that didn't work out, that hurt them. But to me, it was just that the philosophy changed. And when you have established that this guy was your guy, Gibbs, he had become the guy, and he was dominating in the offense, running the ball, catching the ball out of the backfield. I mean, he was truly ascending to be the top running back. And now what you try to do is get back to that tandem thing, which took him off the field. He was the best player on your team. And now you want to split half of his time. So now if you're the defense, you're like, okay, now the game breaker's not in here anymore. So in certain situations, the safety is like, well, I know I can play. I got to play over the top of Williams because of how he can go deep and kill me. Yeah. But if you got the other running back in there, you kind of feel like, well, they got to get him the ball, whatever. You might play it a little different. So I just think, to me, I think they got out of character because sometimes when you got so many weapons, you got too many weapons. And I thought that the offense just looked a little bit more disjointed than it had in the last, 3 games since what's the other running back's name, big homie? I can't think of his name.
David Montgomery.
Montgomery. Yeah, when Montgomery got hurt, that offense was clicking. I mean, think about it, you look at the points they were putting up. And it just seemed a little off when they tried to incorporate him back into the offense this week.
I hear you. I don't disagree with that either. I still feel they had to click because the defense was giving up points as well. Maybe the whole team wasn't as balanced as they would like to have been because of the injuries on the defensive side, and you put more pressure on the offense to have to perform at a high level. And it's the NFL. It's hard to put up 30+ points a game. You're going to have a game. I mean, they put up 31 and still lost. That's the granted, Goff to coaches, Goff had 5 turnovers, fumble, pick 6, 3 others interceptions or whatever. But even with that, they put up 31.
But remember, early in the season, he had 5 turnovers and they
won that game. Yeah.
So they've made some adjustment. But my last question for the Detroit Lions, I was finna say Detroit Tigers, but the Lions, since losing both his coordinators and losing this year before getting to the NFC Championship game, being the number 1 seed, how much pressure is on Dan Campbell next year, having to fill both voids? And they also lost another guy on the defensive side going back to New England as well. So he has to, not just those 2, but he's gonna have to fill probably 4 spots, 2 main spots, but another 2 spots that also help. How much pressure is he going to be under next year, trying to pivot and move forward after losing his 2 top coordinators?
Well, I put it like this, big homie. It's easier to cook a meal when you got groceries than it is not to have the groceries. And when you look at Detroit's roster, they got groceries. You just got to find a coordinator that can come in there. And don't get me wrong, it's not as easy as just plug and play. But you got to find somebody with some of the same personalities that you're losing. Their defense, I really don't take that as that much of a loss. I mean, they were getting so many points put on them. So what does that really mean? I think what you have to do is make sure you keep that continuity of your offense. And if that's going to be your calling card is put up points, then accentuate that. Go out and enhance it. But when you look at, they have a tight end, they have 2 running backs, they have 2 wide receivers, and they got a quarterback that knows this offense or knew the offense that they were running. So, I mean, it's a beautiful situation for a coordinator to come into. And we've seen in the past. Look at Bobby Slowick, who took his time and became an OC. Look at McVay, look at the dude in New Green Bay. I mean, throughout the league, you can find guys that are in a system that learn at the knee of pretty much Shanahan or somebody in that ilk, or even maybe under Big Red in Kansas City or somewhere, and you bring them in and they run that offense. So I mean, I think they find a way to get better. Like I said, it's easier to cook a great meal when you got groceries, and they got groceries.
I think they wind up like they were 15-2 this year, right? I think they wind up like 12-5 and have a better season because they understand the grind. So, and then you gotta factor they're not going to have this many injuries 2 seasons in a row. So
you would hope not. You definitely hope not.
You know what I mean? So, I think Campbell his greatest strength is going to help him. I think he's the ultimate motivator in the locker room. Is his strength as a head coach. So, to Hancock, maybe you got some guys that was there that can now step in and keep the bus going. I think the worst thing that happened to them was him. It was Ben Johnson going to Chicago. You don't like him. You don't want him to leave, but you want him to go to another division. You don't want to have to see him twice a year.
That's true.
I think that was the worst thing that could have happened was him.
But what Ben Johnson does it work outdoors? Because that's the thing about Chicago. You got that wind and everything that goes along with the elements. In that dome, it's a controlled environment, and they were on that turf and they were just flying up and down the field with big plays. I look at their roster. There is some talent there, but if you look at the wide receiver position, you got a malcontent in DJ Moore. You got an Asian veteran in
Keenan Allen.
and Keenan Allen. And then you got the youngster in Oduze, who I think is going to be a bona fide wide receiver. Tight end situation, you got some adequate things there. Running back, I mean, it could be, it could definitely be better, but I'm not totally mad at their running back situation, but I don't think you have what you have in Detroit. And that's the thing about it. So these weapons, they're going to have to retool a little bit. And what made Ben Johnson great is that the speed and stretching people, horizontally and then going vertical. So does that work in Chicago with that wind and weather as the season progresses?
The two positions that they need to fill or continue to fill in Chicago are right now, to me, the two easiest positions. They got wide receivers. There's the lowest hanging fruit coming out of college. You can find you a wide receiver in the 4th round, and you can find you a running back in the 4th round. I'm just, you know what I mean? So you if that's where they're lacking at as far as skill position, I think that's the easiest thing you can find in the draft. I think it's much harder to find a good O lineman. It's much harder for you to find you a linebacker or a corner, in the draft than it is to those offensive weapons. So,
Coach, you want to add to that, or you good?
I'm good.
You still mad at us?
I ain't never been mad at you. I'm just saving my baller, busters, and boy stop. I got it
All
ready.
right. Well, it is time for our baller, busters, and boy stop. Yes, sir. It is here. Baller, busters, and boy stop. And if you're in the chat line, go ahead and put your ballers and busters and boy stop in there for me, please. And I'm gonna go ahead and start it off. My baller this week goes out to Aaron Glenn for turning down the interview and getting the job within 1 week. Yes, sir. Black Lives Matter. Aaron Glenn is my baller this week for being patient, for continuing to be patient, and even with a poor performance of that defense, he still was able to go in and get a job, a head coaching job, that is. Even though it is the same team that drafted him, but hey, plus I don't like Nando New York anyway, but that's a whole nother thing. But happy for Aaron Glenn. Congratulations, Aaron Glenn, for doing your thing, getting the job. All right, so what you got?
Baller, I might be a week off, but didn't Paige Buckets in women's college basketball. Didn't she just eclipse the most points or fastest points for the 2000? So I'm gonna give her the baller, a tip of my hat. Imagine where she would have been if she hadn't gotten hurt.
Yeah.
Yep.
For sure. Big time. All right, Han, what you got?
Man, no, I'm gonna just say that one for the Buster. So, man, I didn't prepare. I do have a Buster, big homie, but I didn't have a baller this week because I didn't even get a chance. I didn't know if I was gonna make the show. So I'm gonna just say my Buster because I got a real good one for that. How about that?
There you go.
My baller is, who did I have? I had a good one and forgot him just that fast.
Was it one of them WNBA? Nobody in WNBA or college?
No, that's my buster. God dog.
But Coach, I put you on the spot. How about I just go with Jaden Daniels as my baller for a rookie to lead his team into the NFC Conference Championship game, and it's I already said rookie, so we know it's his first year. But to do it in such a fashion, man, not just to be a guy that's along for the ride, but actually be a guy that's, really the reason that they're in this position, man. So Jaden Daniels gets my ball. How about that?
All right, Coach, what you got?
My baller is who did I had a good one, but I just go with somebody that I think Novak Djokovic, who everybody just thought he's older. He not gonna beat Alcatraz. I call
You
him
know,
Alcatraz, Alvarez, and take him down. But the Joker said, "Not so fast. I got some things going. I'm still able to do my thing." And he went out there and jumped on Carlos and beat him. So the Joker gets my ball of the week.
Okay, we got some more ballers in the chat. Dad said Jaden Daniels. Marty said the Commanders team. And the bus is the weather for messing up the playoff. Boy, stop it. You talking about Mahomes?
Yeah. I honestly think that had that been a better weather game, Philly had trouble. I think the Rams was going to give them all they wanted. So the weather played a big part in that. I mean, they did break it open a little bit with the Saquon run, but I just thought that had this been in a controlled environment, might have been a little bit different.
All right, Cuz said, oh no, that's Dez. Cuz said Don Staley.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a
And
good one.
I mentioned 00 for the Hawks. Yeah, I can agree.
Double O. It ain't looking too good right now, though.
Double O need to turn up.
Yeah, the Hawks about to get a buster.
Yeah, he needs to turn up because I got him on my prize pick tonight.
I know that's right. All right, time for the busters. My buster this week goes out to, I don't know if we all agree, but I know me and Han agree. The Atlanta Falcons choosing their next defensive coordinator as a retread. Yep. Absolutely horrible pick. Now, I'm not saying that they're not going to do good, but the pick, why you picked them is the reason why it is a horrible pick. I just don't understand this. Now, listen, me and my cousin Jay talked. He said, "Listen, if I'm gonna ride out, if I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go out with you, Big Homie, because you my man." I said, "Yeah, but I would want to be your guy if I couldn't do the job, And if you're gonna put me in a position, put somebody in front of me to let me learn from that. If I can't do the job, and let me learn from that. But that's what Raheem should have did the first time.
Yeah."
And obviously Wilkes and Martindale and even Anthony Lynn could have been a great, great fit that has been there. And you talking about Wilkes, who knows the division already because he coached against all these guys in the division. So
I thought Wilkes been the move, or call up Frazier.
Yeah, I wouldn't even take Brandon Staley.
Yep.
All right, Dad said he agree. We agree. All right, hey, so who's your buster this week?
So Coach brought up Novak Djokovic. So in that same match or prior to, your boy Carlos Alcaraz was talking noise. You can't talk noise and then get beat down. So he verbatim said, "I'm gonna take care of the old man."
Yeah.
And the old man beat him almost in straight sets. So you got to be the bust. You can't talk noise and then get beat. Just can't do it. It's just in any sport. I don't care what it is. Spades, jump rope. It don't matter. You talk noise and then don't show up. You are automatic buster. So you can prove yourself again.
And what you got?
My bust is the NFL's officiating crew, and basically it seems like every official that is calling the Kansas City Chiefs games, and I understand it. Don't get me wrong, I understand it's a marquee thing. You want you want viewership. And right now, Patrick Mahomes is the darling of the NFL. And you want the star-studded attraction of Travis and his girlfriend at the game. So I understand the eyeballs pay the bills, but when it's just blatant and your own TV announcers are calling you out for it, it starts to get a little bit thin, and it's happening over and over, man. I think like a lot of it, like I said, I think is that they're on television a lot, so it can't be unseen when certain things like that happen for him, and they're happening in the biggest moments. They're happening in times when they're keeping drives alive, and the play, this drive should end. The team should have the ball, but there's a mysterious penalty or something to do with the play clock, or this play didn't count, and it's just mounting up, man. And it's just you already know that certain calls and everything that are happening. There's some things we know that are kind of put into play to help another team. But it's getting a little bit more outrageous now when we see it happen over and over with Kansas City. And I used to be one of the guys, nah, man, they just good. But they are good. Don't get me wrong, they are good. But when you get helped in situation after situation, it looks a little bad. So my bust is the officiating crew, Roger Goodell, and the NFL all together. The Shield they bull crapping us, man. Come on. It's getting a little blatant.
Now they hadn't called a holding penalty on Kansas City in no playoff games in the last 2 years.
Well, I think you can call a holding on every team a lot of plays. Don't get me wrong. I agree with you on that. They don't get called. They don't get called for the tackle moving before the play, and he normally is always a half step ahead if you're watching. So I think they get away with a lot of stuff. But I think if you watch games and you watch replays, if you just don't concentrate on the running back hitting the hole, if you just take a little gander to the left or right, you'll see some holding. It's on every play. But it's just that, when they call it, so like I said, I'm just I just keeping these drives alive with Kansas City is just getting to be a little much. That's all.
All right, Coach, what you got?
My buster is a tie. Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat.
Oh man,
Could y'all stop playing soap opera with everybody? Get rid of him, Miami. If you don't want him, you can stop suspending him. Go ahead and kick him to the curb. Find a team and get rid of him because he doesn't want to play for y'all, and y'all don't want him. So divorces happen every day in the United States. Y'all gonna divorce each other and get away from each other. Then we'll see what happens with that. Maybe the Heat will be better, and Butler gonna go to another team and be better. But yeah, y'all too. It's getting like an episode of The Bold and the Beautiful or something like that. I don't know. It turns soap opera now.
Yeah, it is. It is getting that way. All right, boss stop. My boss stop goes out to all other companies and businesses that did not allow the co-workers or employees to leave work early enough to get home before Snowmageddon Part 2. We had folks. Listen, as of right now, before the show started, Georgia had up to 450 accidents. 450 accidents within a day. Within 1 day. Come on, man. That's ridiculous. I mean, I know you want to make money. I know you got a job to do, but man, we got lives to live. We want to be here another day. Now, car insurance about to go. This is why the damn car insurance is so high now.
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness, this is absolutely ridiculous. So I give a boy stop to those companies that are trying to make money and not looking out for lives. All right, Asa.
I'm gonna follow you up. The boy stop gonna go to the meteorologist because I watched for 2 days straight trying to figure out when it was coming through, and I ain't know it was gonna come through until it came through.
Mm.
So we got all the fancy equipment up in space and everything, and you can't tell me when we about to get a sheet of ice.
Yeah.
So
Well, coach don't understand that because he didn't get nothing.
Zero.
I guess we got to blame Mother Nature then.
So it must be a weatherman on. We need a weatherman on every side of the town, so we'll know what's coming. All right, Han, what's your boy stop?
Yeah, maybe my boy stop needs to go to the people that keep putting these chemicals in the air and causing all this climate change. This is the South, man. We're not supposed to have this kind of crap. And this is, you can tell we're not supposed to have because people can't drive in it, man. They don't know when to hit the gas, when not to hit the gas, but it's not really their fault because we don't get it as much. And for us to have it 2 weeks in a row, basically like this, and shut us down. I was one of the people that didn't get home yesterday, big homie. I left work at 5 o'clock. I got home at 11 o'clock last night. It took me 6 hours to get home. So I I understand that exactly what you're talking about releasing us and all this. But man, it just seems like, our seasons are going into each other. Now we don't know what summer is. We don't know what winter is. We don't know what fall is. But I think it has a lot to do with how the skies are being manipulated. All you gotta do is watch these chemtrails, and you can see this ain't right. Something ain't right. So my boy stop goes to people stop trying to be God and let the weather do what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, we getting the cold weather every 2 years. I mean, like, it's becoming more.
Yeah, how does Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and Houston,
New Orleans,
and New Orleans, yeah.
Yeah, 8 inches.
Your point, Han, you're right. That's not even supposed to happen that way. All right, coach, your boy stop.
My boy stop goes to Asa Brown and Hancock. I told y'all I was coming, didn't y'all thought I forgot. But no, I'm just playing. I ain't messing with y'all. No. My boy stop goes to Nick Cronin, the coach of UCLA, who sat there and rolled his team, talking about they not motivated. They not playing like anything. They don't care. And then they go out and win several games for you. Coach, your job is to uplift the team, not to bring them down on national TV. Well, you do that in the locker room. You talk about them then when you're not pleased. You don't get in front of a national audience and talk about them bad. He lucky they all then just look at him and like, all right, coach, you can play it yourself and just quit. Because
still might happen.
Yeah, you dealing with kids now. You ain't dealing with grown folk, so you shouldn't have done that to those kids and went out and berated them like that. But they seem to have mended defenses, and they starting to win. So I guess he happy, and I guess they happy. So Nick Cronin, UCLA coach, you get my boy stop for the week.
Yeah, Coach, can I just piggyback a little bit on that? And I think that's what the dangers of the NIL and paying these kids is going to be. These coaches now are just coming out. I think Rick Barnes or somebody came out the other week and said to one of his players that you making all this money, you need to play better. That's why, I think that's why we're getting away. They can stop the amateurism or whatever, and that's what's going to happen when these coaches now. These universities, it's like D. Will saying, they're going to pay $300,000 per kid, and the other kids are getting more. And even on some programs, they maybe slide it a little different. Say this player gets $500 and this player gets $200. Well, if that $500,000 player is not living up and not playing and not putting up those points or not playing to his ability, it's going to be an issue now, and they're going to be called out. So when do we get to a point of saying, that's a kid, and it's going to be against that. It's going to be, no, now you're an employee, basically. And that's with that, with that money is going to come an expectation. And I don't know if we're ready for it as college fans to accept what's going to happen. But that's these coaches now. Their livelihood is going to be contingent on it even more because the school is going to say, "Look, man, we're paying all this money for that player. You got to get him to play." So what is he going
Yep.
to say to that kid?
Yep.
And especially now the kid is saying, "I don't feel like practicing today, coach. I'm making as much as you. I don't feel like practicing today." So
Yeah.
I mean,
He can take a
it's
PTO.
catch-22. Yeah, I don't know what the situation can be. I don't know what the solution to the problem is going to be. And I just don't know. I've talked to different people, and they say, well, they're going to be able to restructure the money and take away. Well, you might be able to restructure the money that the university pays to a kid, but how you going to restructure the name, image, and likeness thing? Because that he's getting paid on his face and representing the company of whatever that is. So how do you dictate on him saying, "I still got this check over here, and I don't feel like practicing today, coach. You can take 50,000 of that 300 that you're giving me. I got a $1 million endorsement deal over here, or 500,000 endorsement deal over here." So I don't know. I think it's going to kill some of the hunger, and I think that's what a lot of the traditional college fans are saying, that we're losing that and the passion for the game, and I understand it, but it's a different world, man. Because think about all the folks that came through before that put all that blood, sweat, and tears out there, and they didn't get any of that money. They didn't get the things. They didn't get the accolades. They didn't get to reap the benefits that the university was benefiting from, and nobody cared back then. So now you want to care that he's making money. I just don't, because I feel like that the university made money all these years. It ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun.
You're gonna have to have an ironclad contract. That's the first thing you're gonna have. Not what kind of went down out there in UNLV this year. You're gonna have to make sure that contract is ironclad and make sure everybody's on the same page. So,
but what do you do about his NIL money? Because that's not paid by the school.
Hey, now, you bring up a good point. I even got to that. I just know the initial contract and making sure that they can play, and if they don't play, then some of that incentive is gone. It's a semi-pro league now. College football and basketball is a semi-pro league, and so got to look at it like that.
All right, before we get on to our roundtable discussion, Han, you wanted to talk about the question you asked me about the Mr. West Coast going up to Washington D.C. Performing the video you sent me about Mr. Broadus.
Oh man, yeah, I just think we've lost so much. I think we've lost any kind of sense of self-respect, and we're just willing to take anything. I mean, when you come out and you blatantly just broadcast that anybody that performs for somebody, he's a sucker and he's an Uncle Tom and all that, and you turn around 4 years later and do the same thing. I lost a lot of respect for Snoop in that. And man, you can't count a man's pockets. So whatever he did for money, that's on him. But I had a right to feel a certain way, feel a little different about all these guys that come out and say that they did it. I respect Soulja Boy more than anything, because Soulja Boy just came out and said, "I did it for the bag." But when you come out and justify and say, like Nelly said, that can people change? I've been watching Donald Trump now for I don't know how many years now. What changes he gonna do? What changes has he done? I don't understand it. For you to even fix your mouth to say the stupid crap that you said was just idiotic. And for what Snoop did to go complete 180 on saying, if you go perform at the inauguration, you are Uncle Tom, and then you go out and do it. Well, I don't know what else to be said. So they should have been my Boy Scout. That's right there. I just don't understand, man. And I hate it. I hate that we look this way. I understand about Mississippi Valley State wanted to go to an inauguration and be a black school, and it was a big thing for the kids and all that. But sometimes we just have to take our medicine and say, we ain't doing it. And I'm being a hypocrite right here by saying the same thing, because I watch the NFL every week. and I sit here and I love it to death. But the only way to stop anybody from doing the stuff that they're doing is to hit them in the pocket. And we didn't hit the NFL in the pocket. They did Kaepernick like they did. They said they did, and then they came out and said, "Yeah, we did it." And so what? Y'all still go watch, and we are. You put Jay-Z out there and say he gonna be over the halftime. Like that's a band-aid on the gas. It's still bleeding, but we still go right back and watch it. So until we really stand up and take a page out of the old civil rights movement of not riding the bus and hitting those people with the money in the pocket, it ain't gonna matter. So I can sit here and be upset with Snoop Dogg and anybody else that went and performed and looked like Step and Fetch It, or some kind of minstrel show. Well, not even a minstrel show, just performing like a circus clown. I just think it's crazy, man. And half the people with all that money, rich white people that was in that event, they don't listen to your music. They just know you from hanging out with Martha Stewart. So I mean, it's just come on, man. It's ridiculous. It's a bad look, man, and it's a bad look on the black community for me. I hated it.
All right, so let's get.
But that's my soapbox rant. I'm sorry.
Nah, you good. Our roundtable discussion, man. That's the coaching movement. You got Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn. They both get jobs, Chicago and the Jets. What else we got going on? So now we got the New Orleans and the Raiders. The Raiders also coach. Yeah, and the Cowboys. So the Raiders hired the assistant general manager from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to come over to Las Vegas. So, they go coach. So, who's next? So we talked about Deion last week. If he could, if he will, if he this and if he that. My personal opinion, I think now, and the narrative now is Shedeur is nowhere. No one has him graded as a first round pick now. This is what the narrative has been thrown. The narrative now is he is dropping because for whatever reason they just making something up. And if push come to shove, if he falls, if he get picks at number 12 for Dallas, you can probably best believe that Deion is coming.
Do you think they pick they do the draft before they get a coach? Because that's what you're saying if you're doing that. Or are you saying that if Deion comes, then he's definitely going to fall to 12?
Well, they keep putting this narrative out, then he's going to fall. But Jared been doing the picking anyway. He, coach or no coach.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'll let you speak more on that. What you like? Kevin
I don't know, man. It's where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's a lot of smoke surrounding Deion and coming there. He's kind of said that he wanted to be able to coach his sons if he does go and become a coach in the NFL. So, it's possible. Anything's possible. I mean, if we really look back, maybe 5-6 years ago, would you think Deion would even be in the position that he's in now to be a coach of a major college football team? I didn't, so I guess the sky's the limit. Anything can happen. So I think you said something the other day to me about Jerry Jones is one of the most, masterful owners that keeps his team relevant. So a name like Deion Sanders would do nothing but put more money in his pocket, more eyes on his program or whatever, and more prestige. So bringing him in could be a show, big homie. I don't know. Is Deion ready to coach men? I don't know. What he does now it works because he's able to use his his name and how he was in the NFL, and he's able to dictate how a kid should act or respond. That could probably wear thin on a man, a real man, who's been through whatever. You want to come in and say, okay, well, we got to wear ties, or we got to do this, or we got to act a certain way and be more professional. Which I'm not against being more professional, but what's the pushback? You know what I mean? I mean, you got to have your veterans on that team will have to buy in, because the veterans, those are the guys that run the locker room in the NFL, not the head coach. The vets on the team, people take their cues from them. And we've seen that throughout with the Ray Lewis situation, with your Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey and people like that run those organizations. They're the guys. Now, everybody might respect Big Red, but they follow suit on what Mahomes and Kelsey and those people, what they do. So that's the thing I'm saying. He has to go to an organization, maybe that, I don't know, if kind of veterans that have control or grasp for what they're doing. But when you look at what's going on in Dallas, it's kind of disjointed. I mean, you got, who's the leader? Is Parsons the leader? Is Dak the leader? Dak is the company man, and then when you look at Michael Parsons, he's kind of outlandish or goes out and says anything on his mind. So I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know.
All right, Coach, I'm coming to you next. Why is Mike Tomlin getting such a bad rap over the last couple of years because he hadn't won a playoff game?
Because he hadn't won a playoff game. That is simple. But the thing is, though, everybody wants to, Mike Tomlin, and it's not a good streak to have. But one thing about him, his teams are always gonna make the playoffs. Now, the knock on him is they got to win, but you look at some of the rosters he's had. He didn't have a Super Bowl winning roster. If you look at it, I mean, Russell Wilson did good for a minute. He won 5 in a row, and he faced the problem is you got your offensive line, you got guys banged up, and I'm not using that as an excuse, but they got to make some changes somewhere, whether it be in the coordinators or some players or something. But Mike Tomlin, one thing about him though, and I'll say this until I can't say it. If the Steelers somehow say, okay, Mike, we've done enough, we gonna let you go. His time off, if he wanted to coach again, it may last about a week. If it lasts that long, maybe a day. Because somebody gonna call him in for an interview as soon as they find out they able to. Because he still can coach. So his thing is getting over that hump of the playoffs. I mean, he's won 180 some games, but this playoff drought is gonna haunt him forever. And you know how those other people are up in Pittsburgh. Some of them already don't want him there. So he has to get in there and win a game, a playoff game.
Yeah.
AC, you're not allowed to comment. I don't know nothing you can say. Hush.
No. Actually, so Ho, I'm gonna give you something. You can run with it, man. This is a segment you probably could implement, like the what if. What Coach just said, like what if you could flip two? Basically, what if you could flip two coaches from what organization to what organization? Mike McCarthy would fit perfect in Pittsburgh, and Tomlin would fit perfect in Dallas. You got a vanilla offense in Pittsburgh, and you need discipline in Dallas.
Okay.
Hancock ain't smiling about that now.
I mean, I'm trying to see what discipline can you give. What's undisciplined about Dallas? Is it the play? Is it just the talk off the field? Because that's what I want to know what you mean by discipline.
It's all of it. The only knock I would give Tomlin is he can't seem to control his wide receivers. Outside of that, you know what you're gonna get. You know what you're gonna get from Pittsburgh the last 20 years he's been there. They're gonna play hard. They're gonna play as a
But
team.
but what I'm asking about is because you're talking about a team that won 13 games or whatever, like 2-3 years in a row, and the winning and getting there. So what discipline are they lacking rather than? I mean, I don't know. That's what I'm trying to see. What?
The
Go
discipline
ahead.
Dallas is lacking is they don't realize the playoff game is not a regular season game. That's you know what I mean. They don't. And this is before even McCarthy. This is you have a week off for the playoffs and they wind up in some Mexico City and everybody don't get back on time. You know what I mean? You don't never hear those kind of things happen in Pittsburgh.
Hmm. Well, I think it happens around the league though, because we saw what happened with OBJ, and I'm not taking up for it because I understand what you're saying because when you don't handle your business, what you do off the field is going to be magnified and amplified. I just think that these are grown men. If they got a week off to do whatever they do, it's still a job.
It don't happen.
I just don't understand.
It
We
don't
don't.
happen.
I mean, I hear you, but we seen Travis Kelsey go on a whirlwind tour with his girlfriend and do things, and we see people at football games that go back to their college game between the next game or whatever they did. I just think that, like I said, I think when you're a highly publicized franchise like the Cowboys, everything is magnified. I mean, everything. And it goes that way with the Lakers. It goes that way with Notre Dame. It goes that way with Duke. Um, the only thing that Dallas is probably doing, I guarantee you, if you go and you are able to go to other organizations, there's some of the same things going on everywhere at any organization. But the thing about it is the Cowboys is amplified because it's on and in our face. It's just like when we would watch Tiger, we see every shot he took. So if he made a bad shot, we're like, oh man, he made a bad shot. But there were 27 other golfers that hit that same bad shot, but they're not on TV. What I'm saying to you is that with the notoriety becomes more scrutiny. So I hear what you're saying, Asa, but I don't really take into that they're so undisciplined because I think that it's a lot of teams that are doing the same thing. You can't tell me these guys are all church guys and doing everything. You got bad guys because you got to have some criminals to win.
I don't. Yeah, I'm with you. No, I don't mean they gonna come in suited and booted. I just feel like there is not the wrong. Well, I'll put it this way. Then the wrong person in Dallas has the control as far as the team goes, which happens also to be the owner, and so the owner needs to be able to do what he needs to do for the organization, but he should not be as involved as he is in the team. And I believe Tomlin would if we want to use Kansas City right now, you don't hear much about the Hunts.
No, and I agree. Me and you we're on the same page when we talk about owner involvement. I've been saying that for years. Big homie to tell you. Jerry Jones is one of the driving factors in the problem. That's the problem. But when we talk about discipline, that's where I kind of like, I don't know about that because could you discipline Lawrence Taylor? No. Lawrence Taylor would come to the game drunk and high. It's about performing in the moment. So I don't know about discipline. It's about football. And what I do agree with you about is that Jerry has too much input in not allowing the coaches and teams to do what they're supposed to do.
And so that's why
I agree with that.
Went there, Tomlin will be the only person, maybe for a short period of time, as Jimmy Johnson was for a short period of time, be able to cut off Jerry from being as meddlesome as he is. And I feel like in that time he would be able to implement the appropriate amount of discipline and structure that a football team needs to have in order to get over the hump. So that's why I'm like, Tomlin would be the perfect fit. And then if you look at Pittsburgh, the problem with Pittsburgh for the last, granted, you don't have a quarterback, But even with a subpar quarterback or an average quarterback, if the plays are vanilla as they are, I don't care if you got a great quarterback. If they're going to be that vanilla, you're going to lose. If I can figure you out in the first quarter, I got the next 3 quarters, and that's what's going on with Pittsburgh. It's, somewhat a lack of void of all-around talent. I'm not picking on you, Coach. I'm just saying what we see with Pittsburgh. They got one guy on one side, and they got on the offensive side is Pickens, and that's it. On the defensive side is T.J. Watt, and that's it. And that's all Tomlin has to coach with. That is it. So if that's all you're going to have, then I need someone that can be able to be Ben Johnson-like and get me some plays and be able to, out-coach the other side on the offensive side of the ball. And Pittsburgh does not have that. And I feel like McCarthy may be able to bring a little bit of that there.
Well, we tried to warn Coach about Arthur Smith.
Oh, yeah.
We tried our best to warn him about Arthur Smith. So, I mean, ain't that we can do about that. But I tell you what, fellas, before we get into our 3-point shot, because I definitely got to get this out. Before we go, there's been a rumor, and like I said, we don't start rumors. We only talk about them when they come out. 3-team trade. Jimmy Butler, Bradley Beal, Chris Middleton. Bradley Beal goes to Milwaukee, Middleton to the Heat, Jimmy Butler to Phoenix. How does that sound?
Phoenix to the NBA Finals.
I think it will help Phoenix. I don't know if it puts them there. I mean, Jimmy, before he wears out his welcome, he come in there and he help him.
That's the reason. That's why I say in 1 or 2 years, he gonna wear it out, but he gonna get you where you want to get to.
Yeah. I think that would help. I don't think he'd have a problem with KD. I think KD can fit in any situation. But I think more of a problem with what's happening in Phoenix is that you have 2 players that are basically the same in KD and Booker. What made KD special with Golden State was it was a seamless transition with how they played and how he fit in. I think that with Phoenix, he has to not only be dynamic on the scoring end, he has to use so much energy on defense. He has to rebound, he has to defend in the post and things of that nature. He could play hard defense for Golden State in spurts, but he has to play against guys, and it takes a lot out of him ever since he left Golden State. And I think when we look at KD, we still see the young, spry KD, but KD is a little long in the tooth right now. He's getting a little older. Jimmy would help him, though. Don't get me wrong. I think he would help, but I think they just aren't. I don't like him and Booker together. I really don't. I just don't think it's a good fit.
Dame
and I definitely don't like Beal.
Dame and Bradley Beal in the backcourt with Giannis and Lopez.
Man,
Beal
So
are gonna get hurt.
Coach, what you saying?
Bradley Beal, I just don't like his game. He's streaky. He'll hit 28 one game, then next thing you know, he'll get 5 the next game.
Mm-hmm.
And he gonna get hurt.
Yeah,
he gonna get injured. He gonna get injured. It's just a matter of time.
All right, fellas, time for the 3-point shot, and I want the tennis to try to. We're gonna make this a team effort. So I got my 3 guys. I got Coach, I got Ace, and I got Hand. There's only 5 guys, and you got to name them. There's only 5 guys in the history of basketball. 20,000 points, 15,000 rebounds.
Yeah.
And all you got to do is name them.
Wow.
20,000 points, 20,000 points, 15,000 rebounds. We're going 3 strikes now. So if you run out, then we got to get some help.
All right, I'm going Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, number 1.
Right.
He's on the list.
Wilt.
He's on the list. There's 2.
The Dream Team.
He's not on the list.
Ooh.
That's a good guess though.
Duncan.
He's on the list. That's 3.
Yeah.
Got 2 more.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with was Patrick on the list?
No, sir. He's not on the list. Now there's about 3 strikes there, ain't it?
That's 2.
No,
That's 2.
2
I
strikes.
said
Okay.
Patrick twice. I didn't know. I didn't hear if you said yes or no.
Okay, I'm sorry. So it's 2
What-
strikes.
What about old 454 Moses Malone?
He's on the list. You got 1 more.
That's a good call, Coach. That's good.
Oh,
Real
shoot.
good call.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Come through again, Coach.
You got a hint?
Shaquille O'Neal.
Hancock and Coach would know him. Would have seen him play.
Oh shoot, I know. Oh, you trying to say we old? The Big E, Elvin Hayes.
That is correct. Ding ding.
That's a good call. Good call. Coach, ready for the coach?
He
Yeah.
done pulled the old
Gotta
card
feed
on.
Coach the Rock.
I almost said a bad one, Coach. So I'm glad you pulled the Big E.
Yeah, I don't trust Shaquille. I don't trust Shaquille.
No,
No, I didn't trust. He didn't board like he should have.
No.
I was gonna say it's a Malone on him, but it's not Carl. But Coach pulled it out.
That would have made it easy.
Mm-hmm. All right, so King of the Hill.
Uh-oh.
Now this one I got to go around the table, so we can't do a collaborative help on this. So, Asa, you want to go first?
All right.
King of the Hill, NBA. We going old school style though, old school style. King of the Hill, NBA. I'm gonna say 2 names. You give me 1, and then we're gonna keep moving. Alice English, Bernard King.
God damn.
Alice English.
Alice
I'm
English.
going.
Alice English, George Gervin.
Still with me, right?
Yeah, I'm still with you.
Okay. Gervin.
George Gervin, Julius Irving.
Ooh. God damn.
Gervin.
Julius Irving, Larry Bird.
Larry Bird.
Larry Bird, Buck Williams.
Not Buck.
Larry Bird.
Larry Bird. What's my boy name? Terry Cummings.
Ooh.
Not coming.
Larry Bird.
Larry Bird, Clyde Drexler.
Man. Larry Bird.
All right.
Okay. Larry Bird, LeBron James.
Whew.
LeBron.
All right, so the time ran out. So you did pretty good. Eh? All right, Han, we're going to you next.
All right, let's do it.
We're going to different sport, though.
Okay.
We're going NFL. Well, I tell you what. You choose. You pick NFL, NBA, or Major League Baseball.
You go NFL. That's fine. I ain't mad at you.
All right. Eric Dickerson, Marshall Faulk.
Ooh. I'm going Marshall.
Marshall Faulk. Little James Train. Lionel James.
Marshall Faulk.
The train.
Marshall Faulk. Or Billy Sims.
Love Billy. I got to go Marshall Faulk.
Yeah.
Marshall Faulk, Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders, Walter Payton.
Mm. Oh my God. I gotta take sweetness, man.
With baseball,
Walter
I'm taking
Walter Payton.
sweetness.
All right, Walter Payton. Edgerrin James.
Ooh, the edge.
Edge was bad, boy. I'm still going Peyton.
Walter Payton. Ricky Waters.
Definitely got to go Peyton because of the NFL thing. Peyton.
Walter Payton. Adrian Peterson.
oh, that's one you gonna hit him with. Ooh, unfair.
Damn, AD was cold. Ah,
And late in his career too.
AD was different, man. Peyton was so cold. This might be blasphemous, man, but I got to take AD, man.
All day.
Now, hold on,
Peter,
let me see what they say. Yeah, he said there was drink champs. You have to be drink. You have to be drinking on that one. All right, so you say you taking Adrian
I'm gonna
Peterson?
take AD. Yeah, it's hard though, man. Sweden was so cold. Yeah, I'm going AD though.
All right, Adrian. There's got two more. Adrian Peterson and Warwick Dunn.
Oh, AD.
AD or LaDainian Tomlinson.
That's tough, man. I'm gonna take LT, man.
All right, LT. That was the last one. The time one.
Yeah, I'm gonna take LT.
All right,
I'm
Coach.
glad you didn't call OJ Simpson.
Oh yeah. I thought about that, but I figured you would go choose him anyway, so I left him out.
Hey
All right,
man, Juice was one of my favorites, man.
I already know. All right, Coach, pick your sport.
It don't matter. Just pick one.
You tell me.
Do baseball.
Will Clark, Mark McGuire.
Ooh, man, right off the bat.
out the box.
I'm gonna go Clark.
Will Clark, Rafael Palmeiro.
Clark.
Will Clark, Chris Chambliss.
Ooh, I like Chambliss. I'm gonna go with Chambliss.
Chris Chambliss, Leon Durham.
The Bull.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay with Chambliss.
Chris Chambliss, Steve Garvey.
Man, that's a stinger right there. Garvey.
I'm finna move it for you. Ozzie Smith, Dickie Thon.
Ozzie. Wizard of Oz.
Ozzie Smith, Gary Templeton.
Still Oz. Templeton played for the Padres. That lowered his grade point average.
Ozzie Smith. Robin Yount when he played short.
Oh, Yount.
Robin Yount, Cal Ripken.
Shoot. Ripken.
Cal Ripken, Derek Jeter.
Oh, that's unfair right there. Jeter.
All right, we're gonna move it back out a little bit. And I meant to get a baseball writers a Buster Award for not getting Andrew Jones some love. But anyway, Andrew Jones, Kirby Puckett.
Andrew Jones.
Andrew Jones. Robin Yount in center.
Andrew Jones.
Andrew Jones, Marquise Grissom.
Andrew Jones.
and they wonder why he's not in the Hall of Fame. Andrew Jones, Kenny Lofton.
Andrew Jones.
Andrew Jones, Brett Butler.
Andrew Jones.
Andrew Jones, Ken Griffey Jr.
No, shoot, the kid, Ken Griffey Jr. Oh, Lord. Ooh, Andrew, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think that was it, Coach. That was the last one.
Okay.
All right, fellas, that's going to end our 3-point shot. You guys did well as a team. How about that? Coach pulled it through for y'all.
Coach got three TD like Ohio State.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Coach had to bring it in. I know we ran a little over tonight, but look, man, when you're having fun, that's what you do. You do the things you need to do. All right, Han, before we get out of here, give me a Tubi movie or a streaming movie that we need to be looking at or looking out for.
Oh man, I lately, Big Home, I've been turning the clock back. It hadn't been a Tubi movie, but I'm rewatching The Wire. If you guys watched it, it's one of the greatest television shows in TV history. Yep. And that's just my proclamation. You might agree, you might disagree. But that's what I'm watching right now. As far as Tubi, I'll come back with you on next week. Hopefully I can get back in time, get back on the show with you more regularly. But I'll have a Tubi roundup for you next week. But in the meantime, if you got time, binge watch Omar and the Boys from The Wire. Baltimore, boy, it was bumping.
There it is. Okay. Good deal. All right, man. Shout out to Asa, Coach D. Will, and my main man Hancock coming through. Boy, we had a good one tonight. This going down in the book. And Dez said, indeed, he on that wire.
Yes, sir.
Ring the bell.
All right, Asa, who you starting out?
I always shout out UHO, Coach Hank, SRT family. Always have a good time when I'm able to jump on. Appreciate the invite. So, and then one time for my other half, DNA Sports Talk, Don. I think that he's at the game tonight with the Hawks and the Pistons. So check us out on Monday, 7 to 9 p.m. DNA Sports Talk. Just find us on all social media, and then you can get the links to the show.
It is. All right, Coach, what you got?
I'm shouting out UHO and your guests. Those other two guys you got on the show now. You know. No. Ace and Hancock are always good to chop it up with y'all. I'm glad you made it home, Hancock. I know how that is.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I know how that works. Shout out to my boy Red Rev and Armani on the Red and Rev Sports Show Saturdays from 11 until we get tired. Shout out to D. Will. I forgot about D. Will. I want to forget about him and his rants. And then also shout out to Hubert Davis. Hubert Davis, I got some questions for you, my brother. Some serious questions. Don't let me see you in the dark alley.
Yeah, it's rough.
Coach, you got some violence in you.
And shout out to Zach Edey. He already got 10 points and 8 rebounds.
Shout out Zach Edey.
Memphis doing the thing, Coach. What are they, 3rd, 4th in the West?
That's right.
Oh yeah, Memphis playing well. Playing well.
God, dog, the Hawks losing by 20 to the Pistons. God,
damn.
Yeah, the Hawks can beat everybody except Washington, and then obviously look like Detroit.
All right, Han, give it to me.
Hey man, shout out to Asa, shout out Coach, shout out D. Will, and Big Homie, shout out to you, man, holding it down, man. I know I ain't been holding up my head, but I've been trying to take care of this family, man. You know how it is. But shout out to my family and everybody, man. I'm just glad this snow and all that is getting past us. Hope everybody and all the people that you all know got home and get through this stuff safely. Other than that, shout out Memphis. Cuz, I see you on here. He just had a birthday, I believe. So shout out Cuz and shout out all the rest of my people in Memphis.
Yes, sir. Swing by
Right.
here.
So shout out.
Swing by here in the morning and get you one of these. You go need
I
it.
will do. I need to get one. I need to get one.
I got one here for you.
All right, that works.
Yes, sir.
But shout out to everybody, man, who tuning in to the SRT, man. We appreciate the support.
You already know, man. We appreciate that, man. It's time to get up out of here. I gotta go watch Sister. Yes, sir. All right, man. With that being said, we go wrap this thing up and we go do this thing all over again next week. And
Yes, sir.
For the first time in a long time, we're going out the way that we should. All right, Han, let's roll.
Oh yeah, I'm headed home, baby.
Jermaine Man H.O. from Bankhead, R.I.P. Moms and Pops, R.I.P. BC. And if you love the show,
tell a friend.
And if you didn't,
make sure you got good times, baby. This snow for real. Peace.
You already know. Peace, and we out.
All right.